Hello, everyone, and welcome again. Before I jump into today's topic, let's do some breath work. We are going to add something else to the breathing exercise we did last week. To recap, we follow the flow of the air. We felt how the air was coming in, and we felt how the air was coming out the body. We feel the air when it touches the area above the upper lip and the area below the nostrils. We feel when the air crosses the nostrils, travels through your nose, reaches your larynx, reaches your trachea, reaches your lungs, and from there the air starts its way back from the lungs, through the trachea, through the larynx, through the nose, and leave your body through the nostrils. This week we will follow the same path of the air, and in addition we will visualize how the air coming in brings pure oxygen for the body, and how the air leaving the body expels the toxins out of the body. In a nutshell, focus in the flow of the air, in the oxygen in, and in the toxins out of your body. So let's start. Wherever you are at the moment, sit in a comfortable position with your back straight, with your feet touching the ground, and close your eyes. Start by taking a deep breath in, and with the exhalation release any tension that you may have at the moment. Take a second, breathe, and release the tension. Now we'll start our exercise of following the breath. Inhale deeply, breathe the oxygen to your body, and exhale slowly, and release the toxins out of the body. Inhale deeply oxygen, pause, exhale slowly toxins out of the body. Inhale deeply, following the flow of the air, nostrils, nose, larynx, trachea, lungs. Pause and exhale slowly, toxin out from the lungs, trachea, larynx, nose, and out from the nostrils. Now do it at your own pace and in silence. In your mind, follow the air. Visualize the oxygen and the toxins. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Visualize. Let's go again. Exhale. Inhale, visualize your air going through your body. Exhale slowly. Toxins out. Last one. come back to your normal breathing. Enjoy for a second. Smile to yourself and slowly open your eyes. Thank you everybody for sharing this moment with me. In a future video, I will explain the reason why I start the videos with breathing exercise. Now let's start with today's topic, which is called Enchanted or Endangered by Sleep. Today I want to present a little bit more food for thought when it comes to wholeness and how, when we take a serious commitment to know better ourselves, to discover ourselves both in the physical body and mental body, we really start to experience wholeness. Even more, I want to explain why, from my perspective, being curious about the physiology of the body, why learning about nutrition, connecting deeply with food and the act of cooking, set up a beautiful path toward wholeness with tools that are available to us all the time, making wholeness inclusive and attainable. We get out of the illusion that we don't have time, that we need specific skills, or that we need to have a special setting to take care of ourselves. And not only that, but we realize that there is no point on focusing merely in our wholeness if we don't understand the connection of our wholeness with the wholeness of everything that surrounds us. This is why I have called this video Enchanted or Endangered by Sleep, because I believe we as society have built a fairy tale to make us think that our wellness comes in the shape of cosmetics, gyms, superfoods, spas, multivitamins and supplements, diets, luxurious holidays, innumerous experiences, and a lot of free time. In reality, we have gone so far in creating a complicated structure where the less we do with our hands, thanks to technology, the less time we have. I remember a talk by Satish Kumar, who is an activist and a speaker, a couple of years ago, where he said that before we sewed our clothes, we worked the wood to make our furniture, we cook our food, we did the shopping in person, and still we had time to share with family and friends. Today we don't make anything of this and we don't have time. In that lecture, we all laugh with this tone of knowing that we were also part of this ambiguity or have experienced it. On this regard, Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a peace activist, make us realize that we have made huge progress in science to understand how the body works and the science of nutrition, but paradoxically, many illnesses in our society at the moment comes to some extent from the diet that we have. We created an enchanted world full of advertisements and promises on health, food and well-being, and with or without intention, we set up the perfect stage to become endangered creatures. While the purpose of this video is to go deeper into the concepts of full presence and wholeness, I would like to spend some minutes presenting the outcome of a paper developed by Song-Yeon Lee of the University of Central Arkansas, which will provide us with psychological hints about the metaphor of sleep and make us reflect to each of us in our lives. I love storytelling for many years, and I like to bring this here and some interpretation of this tale, which apparently has been around for more than 700 years. I think that tales like this reveals psychological aspects of ourselves as they keep coming back in different shapes over time. So that is why I want to spend some time with this. According to some interpreters of the tale The Sleeping Beauty, the heroine's course is a turning point for the protagonist in her transition from adolescence to adulthood. Therefore, through tremendous amount of sleep, the heroine internally undergoes the development necessary to become a mature adult. In the tale, sleep is represented as the heroine's self-realizing unconsciousness, as well as a natural process of human nature that can occur in men and women. The tale illustrates the Sleeping Beauty protagonist as a person who lives in suspended animation for an extended time. During her sleep, the protagonist is forced to internalize her self-image, either consciously or unconsciously, until she is awakened from her forced isolation. In most tales, if the initial course on the protagonist has prevailed, she would have been dead. Instead, however, she remains alive in order to examine herself in comatose and wakeful states. This internalized self-development is experienced to some extent by the entire society. Based on this analysis of the tale, the meaning of sleep here, and knowing that sleeping is a required step for self-development, but one that has to end at some point to be in touch with reality and life, I invite you to ask yourself at this point, how sleepy and how awake are you? I do believe that the enchanting that the tale describes is what has happened to us as individuals and as a society. We were in a comatose sleep because we were in a huge transition to become real human beings, to have the wisdom of discerning what is true and what is not behind the ads, the policies, the promises of the companies and governments, and now we are ready for the kiss of the prince. Unfortunately, quick fixes, miracle diets, changes overnight, and happily ever after promise to no one, especially not to the ones that are interested in deep and profound transformation, peace and harmony. As a common phrase in the venture business says, you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. Here I invite you to educate yourself instead of kissing so many frogs. So first of all, as I mentioned in the last video, learning about the physiology of the body helps us to understand and feel how the body works when everything is going well, and becomes the greatest tool to identify dysfunctions when things are not working well. And because of this, the better we will be able to craft strategies to build health back. With time and practice to tune in the psychology and the physiology of the body, we tap into the bodily manifestations that are central to the experience of emotion. And this is a topic that is a big passion for me, this huge connection between the emotions and the bodily manifestations. Hence, we start to understand our emotions from a physical manifestation, such as feeling a strong heartbeat when fearful, or a short breath when we have anxiety. When we deal with emotions, it can be in some cases very intangible, and we often don't find ways to go out from fear or anxiety easily. But we can definitely do something to return to balance our heartbeat or the short breath that immediately will balance back the emotions. It's really a fascinating topic. From our physical body, using tools with discipline, we can tap into the mental and emotional body. Another very simple reason to learn about physiology is to know where the main organs of the body are. I remember that I learned where my kidneys really are and how big they are when I was almost 40 years old. So I'm asking how I'm supposed to heal from a kidney dysfunction if I don't know where they are. How I'm supposed to heal if I don't put my hands over them, give them a massage, and trying to understand what is the reason of the dysfunction. Can a doctor feel my kidneys better than I do? Knowing where exactly is my pain and spend some time in silence to feel that pain, breathe that pain, and listen to that pain is the first aid kit that we all have at home. And if my kidney condition is very severe, the next second aid is to start learning at very general level what can be the root cause and the natural ways to deal with it. So I can have a discussion with the doctor, and as a team, we find the protocol to restore the kidney's health. It is interesting to note that in the language we have incorporated the word patient to describe the relationship between the doctor and the ill person. The patient in this language, and again I'm coming back to the words we use, according to the National Language of Medicine, this word is very passive, bearing whatever suffering is necessary and tolerating patiently the interventions of the outside expert. We should change the language to a word that reflects that the ill person is a committed, active, and fully responsible for his or her recovery. Something like health detective, for example. I invite you now to toast your kidneys at this point. Try to find the exact location with your hands and ask yourself how big they are. 1 centimeter, 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters long. What is the weight in grams of your kidneys? 1 gram, 10 grams, 100 grams, half kilo? How long and wide they are? What they do in the body? What are the main functions? Why my kidneys are there and what they are doing? Give yourself some breaths to feel your kidneys. At the end of the video, go to Google and check your responses. Let me know in the box below if you are surprised. The other reason of learning about the physiology of the body is to allow yourself to be surprised again and again with the complex, dynamic, miraculous, magical, and in many times imperceptible body functions and life processes. The best of this is that when we embark into understanding our bodies, we don't get bored, and it will keep us busy for a lifetime. For example, I recently learned that the slime that our body makes when we get a cold, call it snot, sticky goo or phlegm that make us cough, plays an important role in our health. When we catch a cold, there is an infection in the body, and the defense mechanism of the body is to create more mucus that can get thicker and stickier with bacteria and cells that arrive to fight infection. In other words, snot is thick to be able to trap the bacteria. Let's say encapsulate the bacteria so the body can expel the bacteria out of the body through the snot. Two things here happened to me when I learned this. First of all, it still surprised me that our bodies creates this self-defense mechanism out of only the intelligence of the body. Then I had a feeling of devotion and admiration towards my body. We hear often, in the other hand, about the importance of heart opening practices to develop emotional capacity for our well-being. Depending on the practices, they can be very intangible, but in other cases, heart opening can sound like unscientific fantasy for our minds that are always looking for rational and intellectual explanation. However, when I learned about this knot, I had a direct experience of love and gratitude towards my body and respect to all the unknown mysteries of its physiology. This is what a heart-opening experience means for me. When you experience the things firsthand, you stop at looking for scientific evidence anymore. You don't have to convince anyone because you touch your own truth, and that is enough to walk your path with confidence. So what I'm saying here is that we can use all the science evidence about the physiology of the body as a vehicle for self-awareness and even heart opening. Here at the background you have the artwork Wonder at the End of the Rainbow from the artist Angelina Tames, representing with in a state of fully heart opening, touching butterflies, flowers, leaves in different colors and shapes. This is as well another heart opening experience. In the other hand, just imagine if we change our mindset when we are sick with a cold. We move from trying to get rid of this knot, maybe experiencing some anger and complaining about the illness, to move to an approach where we feel how this knot is coming out through the nose. We clean it gently and know the infection is leaving our bodies. At least for me, this approach, I know now that is not what I used to think it was. Just to close up the example, this knot is not only useful when we are sick, it plays a huge role to keep us healthy when we are not ill, as it works as a barrier between our bodies and the environment. So, my third invite is to love your knot. That's all for now. Thank you for listening, and meet you soon in the second part or part B of the video Enchanted or Endangered by Sleep. Thank you very much.